Hello there everyone and welcome back to the Mr. Sinn channel. Today we are going to be reviewing Unit 8, Topic 4 of AP Psychology, Bipolar, Depressive, Anxiety, and Obsessive-Compulsive and Related Disorders. Starting with anxiety disorders. For many people, anxiety is a normal part of life that is short-lived and not an everyday occurrence. However, for those who have an anxiety disorder, the effects are more persistent and intense. The main disorders that are classified as anxiety disorders are Generalized Anxiety Disorder, Panic Disorder, Social Anxiety Disorder, and Phobias. What these disorders have in common is that the person has a heightened emotional state of worry or fear. Generalized anxiety disorders are characterized by excessive worry that is very difficult to control. Symptoms such as anguish, exhaustion, and inability to focus may persist. Panic disorders are characterized by anxiety that intensifies into a panic attack. A person with a panic disorder may avoid certain social settings out of fear of having a panic attack, and sometimes that fear alone could cause a panic attack to occur. During a panic attack, an individual may have their heart start to race, they might start sweating, experience shortness of breath, numbness, chest pain, or intense fear. This can lead to agoraphobia, which is the irrational fear of unfamiliar places or public situations. Individuals with agoraphobia are going to avoid situations where they won't be able to get out quickly, such as crowds or enclosed spaces. Now, a person with social anxiety disorder will feel anxious in social situations. The individual often feels like they're being judged by others, and they might fear embarrassing themselves and will feel overwhelmed by this anxiety, which may cause them to avoid the social situation entirely. Next, I want to talk about phobias, and you've probably heard about phobias before. Most people associate it with fear of something, but it's much more than just being afraid of something. Everyone has different things they're afraid of, but a person with a specific phobia is consumed by an irrational fear and an avoidance of that object, activity, or situation. Now, I do want to point out that all these different anxiety disorders have treatments that can help individuals cope with the anxiety. All of this can help individuals manage their anxiety and live a desirable life. We'll talk more about the treatments later in this unit. Now we're going to change gears from anxiety and talk about obsessive-compulsive disorder. This is a category that encompasses a variety of different disorders. First, let's just break down the term obsessive, which deals with thoughts that are persistent and unwelcome. These thoughts consume an individual's thinking and seem like they will never go away. Compulsive refers to behaviors that a person feels they need to do in order to get rid of unwanted obsessive thoughts. Here, individuals are essentially in an everyday battle of an obsessive thought followed by a compulsive behavior. All of us have at one time or another had an obsessive thought and may behave compulsively, such as needing to double check that you turned the oven off. But when you have to check the oven 20 times in a row, it becomes an abnormal behavior. In this example, the obsessive thought was if the oven was left on, and the compulsive behavior was checking the oven to see if it was on. Even though individuals who have OCD know that their thoughts are irrational, the thoughts are so strong and persistent that they majorly interfere with an individual's everyday life. Some other disorders that are related to obsessive-compulsive disorders are body dysmorphic disorder, hoarding, and trichotillomania. Body dysmorphic disorder is when an individual has persistent intrusive thoughts about an imagined defect in their physical appearance. Hoarding, on the other hand, is when individuals have a compulsion to collect useless items and they're unable to get rid of them and experience severe anxiety if promoted to get rid of any of these items. Trichotillomania is when a person constantly pulls hair from a particular part of their body. They have an increased anxiety and tension before the hair is pulled and get a wave of satisfaction when the hair is finally pulled. Next is depression, which is the general term for depressive disorders. We can see that everyone has ups and downs in their lives. You may go through a breakup, fail an exam, or just don't have the energy to get out of bed. Sadness is part of life. However, when there are extreme or prolonged symptoms, it can indicate a depressive disorder. Depressive disorders are mood disorders that have the main symptom of sadness. The main disorders in this category are major depressive disorder and persistent depressive disorder. Major depressive disorder is characterized by persistent sadness and other symptoms of depressive episodes, such as pessimism, either poor appetite or overeating, either insomnia or excessive sleep, fatigue, reduced concentration, and possibly suicidal thoughts. These symptoms last for several weeks or possibly months. A person is diagnosed if they have at least 5 signs of depression that last for 2 or more weeks. Persistent depressive disorder is the same symptoms of major depressive disorder, except that the symptoms are less severe, but they persist over a longer period of time. A person can be diagnosed with with this if they have been depressed more often than not for the last 2 years and have 2 additional symptoms. On screen right now you can see a variety of different signs that may indicate that an individual is struggling with a depressive disorder. This is according to the DSM-5. Notice that some of these signs are dealing with mood changes, some are dealing with interest levels, others are dealing with sleep and also eating habits. All of these could be signs that would indicate that an individual is being impacted by a major depressive disorder or a persistent depressive disorder. The next disorder we're going to talk about is bipolar disorders, and they have some similarities to major depressive disorders, but bipolar disorders are different. Bipolar mood disorders are where a person alternates between mania and depression. Mania is a state of excitement and overactivity, where depression is a state of withdrawal and lack of energy and difficulty with concentrating. Both bipolar disorders and depression used to be categorized in the DSM as mood disorders. However, they have now been separated into their own categories. This is because bipolar disorder is different from depression. It has different causes and symptoms. Individuals with bipolar disorder will move between depressive episodes and manic episodes. Depressive episodes have the same symptoms as major depressive disorders, whereas manic episodes consist of heightened emotions, lots of energy, and possibly even delusional behavior. Oftentimes, individuals can be in a depressive episode or a manic episode for up to a week, or possibly even longer. All right, now that was just a quick overview of some of these different disorders. Now comes the time to practice. Answer the questions on the screen right now and check your answers in the comment section down below. And of course, if you found value in this video, consider subscribing and supporting the channel. And if you do need any more help with AP Psychology, check out my ultimate review packet. It has information on all the different units of AP Psychology, and it'll definitely help you get an A in your class and a 5 on that national exam. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm Mr. Sinn, and I'll see you next time online.